So I want to take a moment, and some of your other teachers may tell you about this, so be patient with us. We want to really blast this out to you guys so you know what's happening. FSO, as you know, if you happen to have been here 100 years ago like me, you know it's always undergoing revisions, based on what you guys tell us, based on what instructors say. And so we have got a new FSO 3.0 launching on May 5th. And if you log into Connect right now and do a search for FSO 3.0, or you visit the link in the document that I sent you over spring break, you are going to learn a little bit more about what this FSO 3.0 is all about. And so what I've added to the materials section is an FSO support fact card, and this is something new, one of the new things that they've created that kind of goes along with the design of the FSO 3.0 platform. So it's kind of your go-to for learning a little bit more about this. You've got the link to the Connect page right there, and you can access that via the materials section. And so when you click on that link, and I know that some of my campus students were having trouble getting in to be able to kind of play around with the system. So if it's not letting you in, don't stress out. You'll definitely be able to get in before class begins, because it took us a few extra days beyond what they let us know to get access to the new system. So just keep in mind, we're chugging along, getting this ready for you guys. And so I was telling Isabel kind of the big difference, and if this is the first time you've heard about this, it's no big deal. You were on spring break, all right? So the biggest difference, once you actually start kind of peeking around FSO 3.0, hello, Ron, welcome. The biggest difference is that FSO 3.0 has a lot more communication and connection tools in it than FSO 2.8. So it'll be easier to contact your instructor, which is awesome. It'll be easier for your instructor to know when you have questions, also awesome. So when you log into Connect and you go into organizations, FSO 3.0, you're going to see this website letting you know it's going to launch May 5th. You've got some updates. You've got a little transition course. I believe this is where you go to kind of play around with it a little bit. You've got a student demo Q&A. You've got comparisons between 2.8 and 3.0, and you can watch this demo video that kind of lets you know what's happening. Oh my goodness, hold on a second. How about now? Thank you, Adam. Do we now see FSO 3.0? The archive folks could see it. Y'all could not. All right. So now we see the Connect page, FSO 3.0. You just go under Organizations to FSO 3.0, and then on, do you see it now, Michelle? Okay, it sometimes takes a minute to load up, and I'm on Wi-Fi right now, so keep in mind that if there's a little bit of a lag, it's because of that Wi-Fi. So, FSO 3.0 launches May 5th. Check out some of these trainings. They've got some live Q&As. Am I Chiara bot right now? All right, I'm going to work on this audio for just a moment. All right, let me try to turn it back on. Hello, Chiara bot 2000. This is me pretending to be a robot, not the computer messing up. Do you guys hear me? Some atoms it's smooth, some atoms it's not. Okay, all right, so we're back. Okay, awesome. Yes, so Isabel, you can attend a live Q&A. All right, gracias, señor. You can attend a live Q&A so that you can see what's what with the platform. I would definitely take a look. If you can do the little sneak peek, take a look at that first so that you've got some good questions to ask. I mean, although a major question could just be, what is this FSO 3.0? It's just a new design of the already existing platform. And it's going to help you guys again. My favorite thing is that you guys can track your grades. You can kind of even do a little preview and figure out, let's say you want to earn an A in a class. What do I need to earn on different assignments to earn that A? You can see where you are in terms of progress. There's like actual color-coded, you're doing well, you need to work on this. So some good stuff in terms of usability, all right? So let's get started. Take a look at that FSO support card and the FSO 3.0 section in Connect. Are you ready? Final GoTo training. So no need to freak out. It's better, okay? All right? And you web design folks and design folks, you're going to love it. I was having a fit when I was looking at it. All right. So let's get started with our last GoTo training of the month. This one is all about turning in this behemoth, all right? And so I told my campus students I expected a lot from them because they had extra time. You better believe we expect a lot from you because you've had extra time. Now, I know some of you are so, like, you guys are like warriors, like education warriors. You didn't even know it was spring break. So let's talk a little bit about finalizing this, whether you've had the extra week or it's time to power through and get this presentation finalized. This GoTo is all about finalizing and submitting your Ignite presentation, all right? And so I want you guys to take a look, first of all, back into the material section, all right? One of the best things you can do, according to Mr. Scott Shortley, who you learned about last week, he says that actually looking at other Ignite presentations is a great way to create a stronger final Ignite presentation for yourself. I think it also helps you with some of that anxiety you tend to feel about having to keep up with slides. Seeing how other people do it can really, really help you. And so I've tried to give you a good sampling here, all right? How to Buy a Car and Jane the Concussion Slayer were delivered at actual Ignite events in Jane's and the gentleman who did How to Buy a Car in their respective towns. And then Do What You Love is a presentation that an online student, Jen Kovacs, created. And Love Like Plants is a presentation that a campus student named Chris Martigliano, who, I will not lie, is probably one of my top 10 favorite students of all time, along with Angela Lewis, whose outline you looked at in week 1, and tender little Dan Brown, whose video you watched when it came to studying delivery. So Chris Martigliano, Jen Kovacs, Jane the Concussion Slayer, and Mr. How to Buy a Car. Check out one or more of those sample Ignites. One of the best ways that you can actually get stronger when it comes to presenting an Ignite is to actually take a look at what the professionals do, right? So, my first question to you, right, is, and you already know, we're sneaky, we make you do a little bit of work for these questions. So question 1 for the GoTo test, ready with that screenshot, ready with those note-takings, ready with your own screen recording, right? Watch at least one of those, right? And we want to know what made that example work well, and then what did you notice about the way that the information was presented, how it was organized, the slides, or the way that it was delivered. And really think about, the one example that's going to help you do something amazing, right? So you have studied the model, you've worked on this outline, you've got your beautiful slides. Okay, Triple Atom is definitely in the house. So you've studied all this stuff. How do you actually make this amazing? One of the best things you can do is take a look at what other people are doing, right? And so take a look at one of those samples. And Michelle, you just jump right into the materials section, all right? I'm also going to send them to you via email. That's correct. And I'm also going to put it in the announcement on FSO that contains the archive, all right? So if you go into that GoTo announcement, your email, or right here in the materials section, it's like that's the GoTo training live attendance exclusive. You can actually access this stuff right inside of the GoTo training. So if you go under the materials, you'll see how to buy a car, Jane, the concussion slayer, and then a campus Ignite, that's Chris's How to Love Like Plants, and then the online Ignite, which is Do What You Love, all right? So check those out, and then your first question is to tell us what made that example work so well. What did you notice about those 3 legs of the presentation ecosystem? And so at the beginning of the month, we talked about how a presentation is a process, right? It's something, I mean, you've been working on one presentation. You can now say, if someone asks you, how long do you take to prepare for a presentation? You can now say 4 solid weeks, all right? That's more than most top executives spend on preparing a presentation. So we are in the most important part of preparing a presentation, and that's the revision phase, all right? And so the revision phase is when you get a chance to look back over everything you've done in terms of content, visuals, and delivery, right? And so revision is important not only because it helps you kind of double check your presentation and make sure that you've caught everything. It also will help you make it better, all right? The reason why we have this checklist that's coming up, we're going to talk about that checklist in just a little bit. The reason you have that checklist is to help you catch those missing pieces. But the reason why you want to catch those missing pieces is because it's going to make your presentation stronger, all right? So that checklist we've created, you can think of it as sort of your pre-flight checklist, right? You're about to, full sailors, we know that metaphor, that airplane metaphor. You're about to embark on a journey, right? You want to make sure you got your parachutes, you got some fuel in that airplane, you've gotten rid of all the gremlins on the wings if you're a Twilight Zone fan. So you want to make sure that you've caught all of those missing pieces, and catching those missing pieces is going to help you create a stronger presentation in the end, all right? One of the other big reasons why we're asking you a lot of the questions we're going to ask you in the revision phase of this process is to ensure that you've really, really thought about your audience and you've kept your audience in mind from day one. Do we remember what Mama Duarte, Nancy Duarte, says about the audience? What does she say about the audience? This is way back from chapter 1 and from that amazing video, The Audience is... Adams, you are kicking butt tonight. It's the Adam hour. All right, so the double Adam. So the audience is king or queen or regent. Yes, the audience is also the hero, Isabel. Right on. Yes. So the audience is king, the audience is the hero. Are you focusing on your audience? Revision allows you to go back and say, yes, I am, or, oh, hold on a second, I've moved away from my audience, right? And then finally, y'all, listen. Every good presenter knows, right? And you've learned from the absolute best. If you've read your book, you have learned from the best presenter known to man, woman, or beast, or alien, or robot. Nancy Duarte. She's amazing, right? And she helps other amazing people. So the secret to awesome presenting is a growth mindset, all right? Is this knowing that growth and change and development is what leads to mastery and what leads to awesomeness. So revision is what's going to help you become awesome, all right? It's going to help you create that amazing speech that doesn't put people to sleep or kills them like we saw in week 1. It's going to bring them to life. It's going to help your idea stay alive, all right? So make sure you caught these. Our 4 big reasons why revision is important. It helps you improve the presentation. It helps you catch missing pieces. It ensures that you are audience-centered, and it helps you grow as a presenter. It helps you become more awesome. So that's question 2. why do we need to revise? Why is revision important? I give you 4 reasons why revision is important. And if you've got a few more, any other ideas why revision might be important, you can definitely type them in here. I am curious, because this is obviously my 2 cents on why we're giving you that week to revise, right? You might have some ideas yourself. You ready? Let's keep going. So, revision is important, right? You know why it's important. But what does that actually mean? Right? What does it mean to revise this presentation? And so I'm going to pick on Michelle because I talked to Michelle today. And so Michelle worked on her slideshow and is making revisions to it, all right? I've also been speaking to a few people over email who have sent me revisions to their slides, revisions to their approaches. So a good, strong presentation that's revised essentially does what these folks have been doing over the past few days or weeks, which is finding ways to make each of those 3 pieces stronger, all right? And so a revised speech from our perspective, from your teacher's perspective, for us, for Jeff, and for Alex, and for me, a good, strong revised speech is 5 minutes. You have, if you were overtime or undertime, you've reorganized the speech, cut content to figure out how to get it to 5 minutes, all right? You have credible sources of information. You're making sure to include that library resource, or you have harassed your teacher until his or her head explodes looking for that library resource, right? You are blending in those 3 pieces of persuasion. So credibility, what makes you credible, using a little bit of storytelling to help show emotion, and using evidence and statistics and facts and examples to help us see that your argument is logical. It's got logos, all right? So good, strong content means this. And good, strong, revised content, when we're looking at your presentation on Sunday, we're going to be looking for these things in terms of your content, in terms of your message. As far as slides, if you've got cited images, your final one also has cited images. If we were missing those citations, you'd put those citations in there, right? If you need to review the visual design stuff, it's still available for you under expired activities on FSO. So you can always review that stuff, review the video that your instructor gave you, talk with your instructor, all right? So these are the things we're looking for in terms of your visuals. Are you keeping things consistent? Are you using beautiful pictures? Are you citing them? And then high signal, low noise, right? So can we understand very quickly what's happening on that slide, right? Or is there a lot of extra stuff that doesn't need to be on there? Remember simplicity from week 2, how we defined what it meant to create a simple set of slides. So a simple set of slides is all message or signal and very low noise, no fluff, no fire or flickering or bulleting or flipping. No crazy colors. My campus students, bless their hearts, they have had to deal with me for 5 weeks now, and they still want to put flippity-doo in their slides. So the last piece is your delivery. And so if you've looked at your feedback for your Ignite delivery practice, you know, really honestly the biggest few things are you focusing on being natural, okay? And being rehearsed and know what you're talking about is much, much better than what. Do you remember from last week, what should you never ever do in a speech? Read that speech, right? So I know some of you have a little bit of anxiety about feeling like, okay, I've got it down and it sounds like it's memorized, but it's, you know, it's just internalized. I've got the message down, I'm not reading it. Be okay with a little bit of variation, all right? Be okay with things sounding a little bit different every time you practice them. We're going to talk about practicing with your slides. I think sometimes practicing with your slides can help you with that. For some of us, it's going to move us away from natural delivery, so I'm going to give you another few options. We talked about a few last week, but I'll give you a few other options for rehearsing this final final version, right? And then making sure that you're hitting these other pieces. So can we see you, and are you citing your sources out loud, right? Super brief, according to Nancy Duarte, is good enough, all right? So question 3 is coming up. List one revision you've made or done to your outline or content, to your slides, and to your delivery, right? It could even be things that you're planning on doing, right? Especially in terms of delivery, because I know we were on spring break, so you might not have had a chance to take a look at that feedback. So what have you done or will you do to revise your content, your slides, and your delivery? Just one thing you've done, right? Even if it's, rehearsed a different way, or changed the colors on my presentation, or finally found that picture I was looking for, right? So one revision each to your content, slides, and delivery. And this moves us right into the point of the Ignite checklist, right? So you've got this checklist and you've got the Ignite due this week. No discussion. So your checklist, again, really think of it as a pre-flight checklist. You're an astronaut, because I prefer space over just airplanes. So we're going into space, all right? We are taking off. We are going to Mars. We need to make sure we're going to intellectual and presentation Mars. So you want to make sure that you have everything on point, right? You want to make sure that everything is set so that this is a successful endeavor, a successful final project. And so this checklist is really, and I was explaining this earlier, it's so that you know, that we know, that you know what's expected of you, all right? There are 2 parts to this, right? One of them is really just for you, that revision worksheet, which includes questions like, do you have your big idea? Do you include storytelling in your presentation? Have you set up your slides to go automatically, all right? Raisa, you're going to need to check the archive, or if one of these tender classmates wouldn't mind giving you the questions, you can type those into the chat box. Otherwise, Raisa, the archive will be up ASAP, and you can always take a look at those first 2 questions, okay? But I don't want to run out of time, so I got to keep going. We got some helpers in here that may give you those questions in the chat box. Again, you can always check out the archive. So that revision worksheet, the first part is just asking those questions, and we want you to be very honest, okay? If the answer to have I set up my slides to go automatically is no, thank you, Adam, one of the amazing Adams. So if the answer to have I set up my slides to go automatically is no, say no. You're not going to get points off for saying that, okay? You're going to get points off if you don't do it. But just saying it lets us know that we need to give you a little bit more feedback. It lets your instructors know that, hold on a second, you don't have your slides set up. How can we help you ensure that you have that done, all right? So that checklist part is just so that you know what's expected of you, all right? And then the reflection on advice is you just kind of talking a little bit about the presentation process, talking a little bit about any questions you have for your instructor before you submit that final project, all right? So that reflection piece is just so that you have a chance to kind of go over what you've done so far and what you can still do, all right? Do we get that? Step 1 is so you can check everything off, make sure that you're ready. Step 3 here, reflection on advice, is so that you can reflect on what you've learned, reflect on any final questions you have, and ask them of your instructor, all right? So this is the easiest 100 or the easiest 0 in PCP, all right? The easiest 100, do both of these parts. 100%. 0, don't do both of these parts, all right? So the point is really so that you can make sure you catch all those missing pieces and also think about the process you've undergone. Finally, ask any questions you have of your instructor. And this is, again, an easy 100. You earn a 100 by doing both parts, all right? And that's question 4. Why are we asking you to complete this checklist, and what are those 2 parts, okay? And so I know sometimes when you're doing this, you may have a little bit of stress. Am I answering this right? Am I answering this wrong? Guys, as long as you're actually honestly answering it, yes, I'm doing this and it works really well, or I kind of think I'm doing this right. Could I get a little bit more guidance? That's really what it's for, okay? It's just really meant to be for you guys to reflect. We want to give you a little bit of a break from all the strict PCP grades. So you guys ready? Take that screenshot. Hi, Harris. So you have now revised. You've done this checklist. It's Thursday, fingers crossed. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You are ready to submit this presentation. You are ready to turn your work in. So we're going to talk a little bit about what you're going to actually submit, right? But before we do that, we do need to talk about how you're going to get your slides to us, right? Since you've revised your slides, your teachers really want to see what that revision sort of came to, like how that revision played out, what it looks like, all right? So you're going to submit your slides. And so in order to get us your slides in a way that's nice and easy, so we don't have to worry about which Keynote version you have, and we don't need to see the notes anymore because you've already submitted those for feedback, it's important that you submit your slides as a QuickTime movie, right? This will also help you when it comes time to rehearse, and I'll talk about that in just a second. So you want to export your slides as a QuickTime movie, right? If you are in Keynote, you're simply going to go to File and then Export. Make sure that your settings look just like these. If you use the set of slides that I provided for you in the Ignite slideshow assignment, you'll see this. Isabel, that's because you're using Keynote 13, and so I don't have that version, but it should be the same process. They might have removed some of these options. Just make sure that you've got your slides set up to move automatically every 15 seconds. Before you export, if you're using Keynote 13. Yeah, so Isabel, you're using the new Keynote. So yours is going to look totally different from mine. I'm not allowed to update yet. Full Sail's told us not to, okay? So something you're going to want to do, Isabel, is if you run into problems, it's not running at 5 minutes, it's not looking the way it's supposed to, you talk to your instructor, and we'll help you figure out how to get that to 5 minutes. But the process should be pretty similar. File, export as QuickTime, and then if you should have the option of doing this. If you don't, again, make sure that you've got your timings set up before you export it. And I believe I talked about that last week in that archived session. If you're using PowerPoint, all you're going to do is go to File and then Save as Movie. And again, you want to make sure that you've got your slides set up so that they transition every 15 seconds. That was already built into those slides you were to download for discussion 4. So PowerPoint, File, Save as Movie, all right? So just keep that in mind. Keynote, File, Export, QuickTime, PowerPoint, File, Save as Movie. But you got to make sure those timings are already in there. Right? So I want to know for your presentation software, and Isabel, this may be like, you may just be enlightening us beyond belief if you could actually put in what that exact process is for a Keynote 13. How do you export your slides in that presentation software? Right? We want to know that you know how to do this, right? So once you have your slides exported as a movie, right, and I talked about this last week, or usually talk about it in the week 3 GoTo training, and then I want to cover it again this week. This helps you when you're in the rehearsal process It helps you actually practice or record yourself while the slides are playing alongside you. You know, your audience isn't going to see them. This is really just for you. This is entirely for you. So you can use it as a rehearsal tool or you can use it as a recording tool. So first you're going to need those slides exported as a movie. And they should just export as a QuickTime movie. And then you want to open up your photo booth and hit play on your photo booth, record. Immediately after that, hit play on your slides and you can begin recording yourself, right? So, what is the problem with this? What could be a pitfall of recording yourself in this way? Any ideas? Okay. Timing, looking at the slides versus the camera. Yeah. So, oh yes, yeah. And I often find, y'all, Raisa, that's why we have the archive. Just take your time and watch it again. No es un problema. You just have to watch it again, okay? So, in terms of recording yourself like this, all right. Gianni, hello. I missed you today. So Gianni's been coming to every single campus class, and he wasn't there last class or today. I miss you. So when you're recording yourself, what could be problematic is, okay, if you don't practice enough seeing the slides, they're going to trip you up when you are recording yourself because you're going to be too focused on them. Or every time they change, it might freak you out, okay? So, Christy, you're amazing. Oh, you guys are great. All right, so make sure that if you do this option where you have the slides playing at the same time as you're recording yourself, make sure that you practice like this for a little while. And then, you know, what I like to do is I don't look at the slides. I always try to look at my little green dot right in the middle of the screen. But I can still see the slides moving out of the corner of my eye. I'm not staring at them, but I can see them out of the corner of my eye, okay? Raisa, no, I remember the GoTo test is not due until Wednesday, and that's Wednesday Eastern Standard Time, okay? So you may have to take a look at what time that is for you. But you have got, you know, until Wednesday to do this test. You don't have to do it tonight or tomorrow, okay? Adam, that is such a good piece of advice. Photo booth has a timer. It lets you know when it's counting up. It's just about practicing enough, using the method that you're going to ultimately use for this official presentation, okay? Moshe, you can change to Keynote. You can open a PowerPoint in Keynote. You simply, you know, control click instead of just double clicking on the file. You control click and then select open with and Keynote, and you'll be able to open the presentation with Keynote. Keep in mind though that some things may not look the same, some things may not work the same. They're different programs, okay? So, yes, Christy, very good piece of advice. Make sure you check your timing if you do convert. So this is a good strategy for practicing, but it can also throw you off, okay? So how do you actually rehearse or record yourself with the slides? And I talked about that process a moment ago, all right? Very quietly, I'll tell you the process again. You open your slides. You open photo booth. You hit record on photo booth. You hit play on your slides. All right, so super exclusive secret method, right, for rehearsing or recording with your slides. And then what could be a potential problem of doing this, right? That's question 6, right? So once you've done this, you now have the video of your slides, which you've exported. You have an amazing polished, look at how well dressed, look at all these pearls. You got your pearls on or your tie on, You filmed yourself in a nice neutral location. We can see you. We can hear you. You've polished each piece of this. You are ready to turn the presentation in, right? So we're going to ask you to turn in 3 pieces, right? This is what you need to be eligible for a grade on your Ignite presentation. You need to have your slides with, should your images be cited? Pop quiz from week 2. Should you cite all of your images in your slides? What's the answer to that question? Yes. Yes, the entire class. Yes, I should unmute you and we could do like a Ben Zander choir. Yes. Yeah. So images cited, slides exported as a movie. A video, Dwight says, yes! All right, so a video of you. And finally, we need your references. And all right, we don't want to waste time with a here are my references slide. So you're going to put those references in APA, all right? So you're going to make yourself a folder. It's going to be called Ron Rose Ignite, or Jose Sim Ignite, or Dwight Simpson Ignite, or Gianna Carbone Ignite, or Isabel Hernandez Ignite, or Christine Hine Ignite, or Chrissy Hine, Ignite, or Christy Taylor Ignite, right? Or who am I missing? Raisa Navarro, Ignite, all right? So you're going to name it your name and then put the word Ignite after it, all right? Create a folder, call it that, and then put your presentation inside of it, all right? Put all of these 3 pieces, your slides as a movie, a video of you presenting, and your sources in APA format, all right? In a Word document or a Pages document, right? So you're going to put all of those in a folder, and that's what you're going to turn in. So pop quiz, hot shots, right? Question 7, what's required for a complete submission of the Ignite project? Oh, Ron, y'all are, okay, hold on. You guys are amazing. We're going to talk about, first of all, if there are issues with file sizes and whether or not the file should be compressed, right? So hold on just a second, and we're going to get to that. Isabel, are you ready? 5, 4, 3, 2. All right. All right. So we're going to talk about those questions in just a second, all right? Now, some students who are a bit more tech savvy, Pedro, that's a very good question. As long as your instructor can see the citations on the video, that's such a good question. If the picture image is clearly cited on the video, right, and we can see that citation, and you kind of, when you export the video, take another look at it and see if you can see the citations, right? If they're visible, then you don't need to also add them to your reference page. If you can tell that they're very hard to see, or you had any problems submitting references for, discussion 4, then you may want to just be safe and put them in that reference page, okay? But normally we don't require you to do that as long as the image is cited on the video and we can see it. Raisa, that's correct. You're going to create a folder with your name and put your presentation, the video of you, and the video of your slides. And what else, guys? What's the last thing we're putting in that folder? Your reference page. Yes, your reference page with your APA citations. That's all going to go into one folder. And you're going to submit that to FSO, okay? So some students are a little bit more tech savvy, and it's not disparaging to say you are more or less tech savvy. Some students are also big control freaks like me. So one of my students shared this option with me, and I figured I would share it with you guys as well, okay? If you would rather, and I was talking to Michelle about this, right? So you can submit 3 separate files, but if you are the kind of person who you can film yourself while the slides are playing behind you, or again, you're really awesome with iMovie or another system like that, you can actually combine your slides and your video speech into one, okay? So this is totally optional. You don't have to do it, but you can if you want to, right? So I want to give you this option. Not only is it good for those who are already into using the more tech-savvy option, but it also teaches you something else with this, what J.J. Abrams calls the mystery box. It'll teach you something different you can do with your MacBook Pro. So you can combine your speech and your slides by using iMovie. And so again, this is totally optional. We understand optional. Do not have to do it, only if you feel like it, all right? What you're going to need are your two videos, the video of your slides and the video of you presenting, all right? You pop into iMovie, and using the advanced features, you can create what's called a picture-in-picture video. It'll make you look a little bit like a news reporter, all right? Yes, like a real-life newscaster. You're Ron Burgundy. Stay classy, all right? The Green Lantern was denied a bank loan. So you can, if you would like to take the Ron Burgundy approach, you can use iMovie to do this, all right? And so it's super easy. I did it with Jen's presentation under the Sample Ignite presentation in the materials section. I did this with her video, and it was as simple as going into preferences, making sure that my advanced tools were checked off. So you want to hit Show Advanced Tools after going into Preferences. Let me repeat that. Preferences, Advanced Tools, show them, right? After that, you go into the File menu and you create a new project, all right? And so what I'm going to do once I create a new project is put my video in here. Pretend I'm Jen, right? I'm Jen Kovacs. So I've got the video of me presenting here. I've got a lovely scarf. My background is neutral. I'm being natural, engaging in my delivery. Awesome. So here's me presenting. What I'm going to do is I'm going to select my slides. All right, we see that purple stuff there. Those are my slides. I'm going to select that entire video. Right? So I'm going to import both of these videos, add the video of me presenting first, and then add the video of my slides. And what I'm going to do is take this video of my slides and drag it right on top of my face. Like literally right on my face. I'm going to put the video right on there, and then what iMovie is going to do is give me the option. I can do replace, I can do insert, I can do cutaway, I can do picture-in-picture, I can do green screen. You're going to select picture-in-picture, and then what you're going to see is your slides in the corner of your video. And you can resize these, you can move them around, all right? So this is totally just an option. Again, it's something that, you know, a lot of people who just want to turn in a smaller file, just want to turn in, you know, the video and the references and don't want to have so many files to deal with. This is a good option for you. Again, you don't have to do it. If you'd like to learn just a little bit more about iMovie, it's kind of a good way of jumping into something a little bit different, okay? Oh no, Will, that's terrible. Oh, I hope you're feeling better. Christy, one option or the other. Yes, so either give us 3 files or give us 2, right? So either the 2 videos and the references or 1 video and the references. Again, up to you, right? But just so that you can add this to your checklist of awesome things you can do, what was that process for combining those two videos in iMovie, right? Adam, oh my God, such a good question. If you take this option, does it matter if the slides are the picture-in-picture, or can we use the slides as the main image with a picture-in-picture of you? What do you think my answer is going to be to that? This is like, you guys are Adam-rific. Adam-rific. Adam-tastic. Yes, so there you go. You handsome, you're the mentor, we need to see you. So the person should be bigger. Yes, so your slide should be the smaller piece, you should be the bigger one. Don't be trying to sneak your slides in there as a little crutch. Get rid of that. No way. You should be bigger always, okay? So we're good with this. You can always review that process, right? Adam, that is correct. So if you use this option, you're going to want to give us your image citations. Again, for most cases, if I can tell, if you're my student, I can tell that the images are the same. I know that, and you cited them when you did discussion 4, then I generally take you at your word that those are the same images and that those citations are the same. But if you've changed any images or you're not sure, you either want to go with first option or give those citations separately. Yes. Okay. Very, no, everyone is handsome. So, Isabel, that's only if we cannot see your image citations on your slides, okay? So if you do that picture-in-picture option, and you can see it in Jen's, that they're kind of hard to see. So if your image citations are hard to see, you're going to want to make sure you double up and cite your images in the reference section. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. All right. Honestly, it's really just so that we don't have to hit play on 2 videos and so that we see something seamless, but your teachers can open both videos separately and watch them and still give you feedback if you don't take that picture-in-picture option. Also, a lot of the time students like to send each other their videos, so if you do want to send your classmates your work, it's a good option to kind of combine them so it's easier for them to see that, all right? So that's a big reason why we make it an option. So, either way, whether you combine them or you don't, let's talk about turning in this final project, all right? You are almost done. So, you know, just like with those slides, and even more importantly than with those slides, you need to start uploading your work at least 4 hours before the due date. I understand that that's not always easy or possible, but do your absolute best, okay? Do we know what the late policy is in PCP? What is the late work policy? Chrissy's got it. No late work. It does not exist. Adam, review that late policy. No late work. There is a late policy. It's called no late work. So, I mean, only if you have documentation from the President of the United States. Adam, that's a good approach to take. So, no, there is no late work unless you follow the late work policy. But there's no, oh my goodness, my work took too long to upload or FSO wasn't working. Oh, well, can you take my work late? Does not exist, all right? The late work policy in this class is no late work. What, Adam? Strike that from the record, Adam. I am Adam Prater. Prater is stricken. Don't you just love it when judges tell juries to do that? Please disregard everything that just happened as if you are a robot. Everyone, robot yourselves, erase your memories. That did not just happen. So, you need to get this work uploaded as early as you possibly can. I did not confirm, so, Chris, there's no confirmation. All right, so, oh wait, please don't redub my voice so that I'm saying that. You guys are too much. Okay. So, well, you guys are pretty tech savvy. No tech savviness either. All right. So, question 9. Oh, no. You guys are derailing. The train is derailed. I'm done. Okay, so what is... You're going to make me snort, Barry. So what is the late policy in... Oh, no, Christy, you missed... I think my cackling destroyed Christy's audio. So what is the late policy in PCP? And why do you need to begin uploading your work well ahead of the deadline? All right, this is just common sense. if you and everyone and their mother is uploading their work at 11 o'clock p.m. on a Sunday, none of you are going to get your work turned in, right? So, yes, absolutely. And y'all, especially with that new platform coming out, it could be, you never know. There could be even more of overload than normal. I don't know. The internet may not be able to handle it. So make sure to start ahead of time so that you can avoid what happens. Do not break the internet. It already happened. So, RSO? Ron? Yes, yeah, no. You're not going to have access to the new one until after this month ends. Yes. So you're going to still be on good old 2.8. Yeah. Okay. So we had a question before, what happens if I run into problems? Should I zip my work? So usually you won't run into problems unless your work is over 100 megabytes or you're waiting until 11:57.49 p.m. at night, all right? So to avoid, we've already talked about to avoid the late upload problem, don't upload late, all right? To avoid other problems, for instance, if your files, your big folder that's got all your stuff in it, your videos and your references, if that's over 100 megabytes, what you want to do is take these steps, right? First of all, you want to export your videos at a lower quality. It's okay, right? As long as we can see you and hear you, and as long as we can see your slides, you can export your presentation at a lower quality, right? Notice that when I asked you to export your slides earlier in tonight's session, I had the option of medium size checked. If you go bigger than that, it's going to create a bigger file. If you record yourself using your actual video of you presenting, using some higher end settings on QuickTime or iMovie, it's going to be a bigger file, okay? So it's okay if it's a smaller file. So create a smaller file, right? The second thing you can do is put your work in that folder and compress or zip it. That's actually just a best practice for every single one of you. It's better to upload a zipped folder than to upload just a regular old folder or to upload separate files, all right? You don't know what question 10 is, Adam. Come on. Oh, Gianni, yes. Yeah. You got to think about those time zones too. Absolutely. So compress your work, zip it right into a, you guys, I mean, I can't keep it together anymore. This is like the most fun GoTo training ever. So compress or zip your work into a zipped folder, all right? Upload it to your own Dropbox, to your own Google Drive, right? To your own, I don't know, smoke signal service. Upload it somewhere so that you can send it to us. We've got WeTransfer, SendSpace, you send it. So use your own service. My preference is Dropbox or Google Drive. I've kind of become a Google Drive freak, all right? Telegraph it, that's fine, right? Adam, if that's what works, live link it to YouTube. That works as well. You probably just want to send your references as an actual Word document. So we get those. So whatever means necessary, mail a CD. Start right now. Mail it today. All right. So when you use your own Dropbox or Google Drive, you're going to get a link to your work. So you can simply copy that link, paste it into a Word document that says, Dear Professor Ojeda or Professor Melton or Professor Rasta, if you are in the Southerners class. So, Dear Professor so-and-so, my file was too big to upload. I'm including a link to my work. Here is the direct link. I'm a super student, right? So, yes, fine. Adam and Isabel, that was question 10. What do you do if your file is too big? Oh, Ron, yes, absolutely. If we're using Google Drive, you got to make sure that others can view the file. Yes. Mail it in the mail. Yes, we're going old school, like we're doing correspondence courses from the 1850s. Send it to me by mail as long as I get it. Yeah, on time. So If your file is too big, what do? What were some of those pieces of advice I gave you? Again, my favorite is Dropbox that thing, and then submit something. You guys are killing me. If the archive folks could only see what I'm laughing at right now. So if you are going to do this Word document option, this is probably the best thing you can do, even better than the floppy disks, the bicycle messenger, the mailing, all right? You want to upload something on FSO, okay, so that your teacher has proof, double proof that you submitted that work on time. So if your file is too big, your folder's too big to upload, submit that Word document with the link so that you have double proof. Not only is it on Dropbox on time, but it's also on FSO on time. Boom, right? So once you're done with that, speaking of Pony Expresses, you can take the Success Unicorn Express to Success Town, to Congratulations Town, right? So once you were all done, take a moment and revel in having mastered this, all right? Now, Gianni will tell you, the campus students have less time. They have less time to do this presentation. They did not get 4 weeks, right? Gianni, what do they have, like a week and a half or something like that? But they got to sit in class for 4 to 8 hours. They worked on this in class. They got to meet with me. So you guys actually have the tougher challenge, right? Because the campus students, they're a captive audience. They can't help but work. And I am on them for every single little piece of this assignment. But you've been on yourselves. You've tackled this. You've succeeded. You've mastered it. So after you're done with this presentation, take a breath and enjoy Success Unicorn time, all right? How do you know unicorns are mythical, Pedro? All right. So let's talk a little bit about this question Isabel just asked, all right? Isabel's question is, do we need to record again with the slides? Can you hold on a second? Can I unmute you, Isabel? Is that okay? All right, I'm going to unmute you. Here we go. So ask your question, Isabel.
The third week.
Oh.
Recorded already.
Ooh. Sorry, hold on a second. Let me mute if I mute my speakers, mute your speakers, Isabel. So mute your speakers and then ask. Let me know when you're muted. Your speakers are muted. Wait, yeah. Come on, music production people. We need you to get in here. All right. So let's try this again.
Last week or third week, we recorded ourselves. Do we have to record again for this week, including the slideshows?
Okay, very, very good question. All right, I'm going to mute you again. Okay, so yes, Isabel, you do need to record yourself again. And so what you want to do is look at what your instructor told you in terms of revising your delivery. You know, whether it was, kind of keep practicing or mess with your lighting or your attire. So unless your instructor said 100% A+, perfect, definitely, actually, even then, definitely record it again, all right? So that Ignite dress rehearsal was just that, a dress rehearsal. So you have the chance to film yourself again and polish up anything maybe that you didn't like in the first part, something that you still need to work on. Isabel, who's your instructor? Y'all need to, Adam, you put no gel in your beard. You need to let that thing be resplendent and amazing. Well, then Jeffrey will get you some feedback for sure if you haven't already gotten it. I would say by tomorrow. I know he was out of town for some of spring break. So you can definitely ask if you haven't already gotten that. You let him know, he will get you some of that feedback, all right? So you definitely want to revise. And, you know, even if you don't have that feedback, you've got discussion 1, Isabel. Okay. I see. And, well, you can always look at what your classmates said about your delivery, right? And just be critical of your own work as well. So maybe, okay, are you guys dissing her hypercolor? So reach out to your instructor, get that feedback, and then even beyond that, I mean, you've got a week. Just think about the kinds of stuff from looking at your own video that you kind of want to work on and adapt and revise. Okay. So, oh, okay. Oh well, Isabel, I could see how that might be a little bit distracting. At least you've got, listen, Mama Duarte says that you always want to host a screening with honest critics. That's what she says in Chapter 8 of Resonate. So there you go. You got some honest critics. Oh, okay, Adam, you just lost all credibility. You did not spell her name correctly. Oh, I see. Okay, I see what's happening. All right, so I'm going to stop the archive. Goodbye, archive folks. Say goodbye. Thanks for joining us virtually. All right.